Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Previously, we have covered few of the questions which we got from the KPMG Power BI interview. So now we are covering the part two of these questions, which are fully related to the Power Query, which is sort of mostly related to the transformations and everything. Here is the interview question which was asked in the KPMG. I have two tables. One is a calendar and another one is a holiday list. How would you delete those holidays from the calendar? And specifically, which giant would you use in the Power Query? Okay, so first we can have a uh, walkthrough in the Excel how we can able to do that, and then we can jump into the Power Query and we can able to apply the same approach in the Power Query Power BI as well. Here is the calendar which we are considering, and here is the holidays list. So I'm just defining few of the dates in it. Okay, so we need to exclude these holidays from this table. Okay, for example, 3 is the one, and 4, 6, and 12 are the holidays. So from these calendar, we have to exclude these four dates. Okay, these four has to exclude, remaining things has to populate in the table. Okay, so let's implement the same approach in the Power Query Power BI as well. Let's go back to the Power BI. So in the Power Query, I have taken few of the dates. Uh, See in the Power Query calendar data table, so I have considered 10 days, and in the holiday list, I have captured these are the holidays. So now I have to exclude the holidays from the calendar table. So how can we do this? Based on a joining, so we can able to exclude that list. So let's see what in the merge option. If you can see here in the merge, we can have all the options. First one is a date, which is of calendar, and the holidays. This has to be excluded. So let's select those two dates from here, from the holidays and calendar. If you can see the joining, what kind of join are we going to use it here? If you can see here, we have all the joins which are available in the Power BI. Left join, so left join which will capture all the data from the first table, and it would get the matching information from the second table as well. Right will be same, but it would be vice versa. Okay, it would bring the information from the second table and matching from the first data. And full join, it would bring all the matching or non-matching from both the tables. And inner join, it's just a matching information between the two tables. Okay, whichever the tables are matching, so respective information is going to be populated in that table. It's a left anti and right anti join. If you can see left anti join, okay, it would bring all the information from the left table, and same time it would exclude whichever is present or whichever is common in between those two tables. Okay, so finally it would bring whichever is present only in the first table. That would be the outcome of the left anti-join. Even the right anti-join will also give the same kind of approach. It would get the information only from the second table. It won't consider anything which is coming from the first table. Okay, so from our perspective right now, from this calendar, so we have to exclude the information which is in the holiday list. Okay, let's consider calendar is the left table and holidays is the right table. Okay, so now let's use a left anti-join and then click on OK. So previously we have, let's check the previous. We have 1 to 10. After we merging it, we can see only few of them. If you can see holidays which are of 6, 8, 10, whenever we come back to the calendar, we don't find those dates exist in the calendar table, which is what uh, the interviewer is expecting from our end. So what specific join we have to use? It's a left anti-join. Seventh question is, how would you define multiple conditions in the Power Query by using custom M query? Do not use a default options. Okay, as we already know that in the, I'm just taking an example of a holidays table. If we are having 6, 8, 10, so as we know that if we can go with the add column, so we are going to have a condition based approaches. Okay, so here we can able to define like what holidays is and whatever the conditions which are needed, so we can able to define, we can able to get the outcome. Okay, let me take 6, and output should be Diwali. And let's take another condition from the holidays. If it is previously just considered as a 6 and now it's 8, if it is 8, it's, if it is Christmas, and if the holidays are 10, I mean specific date is 10, then it's a Eid, else it has to populate null. So by this way, we can able to achieve what we are expecting. So this is a default approach that how we can able to incorporate. Instead of that, they are specifically asking to write these conditions in a custom manner. Okay, so let's take the custom column. Let's define a name of the column as well. So here we have to define the same condition, but in the query approach. Okay, so as we know that we have 6, 8, 10. So specific holidays has to be defined in it. If holidays equals to no specific date is 6, then it's Diwali. Else if holidays equals to 8, then it's Christmas. Else if specific holidays equals to a 10, then it's Eid. Else, let's consider, I mean we don't have anything else. So if you have any holidays or any kind of condition we have to define, so we have to define everything. Okay, if no conditions exist, then let's consider that as null. After we providing all those conditions in the custom query, so we have to click on OK. So the same kind of thing. So these are holidays, the specific names are going to be populated. So this is how the custom will be evaluated with the holidays. So finally we are going to have both the conditions. So if they would ask us to go with the custom, so we have to take a custom query and we have to write all those conditions in it. So if we do not have anything, so by default we are going to have a conditional column exist in the Power Query itself, so we can define those conditions in it. So finally we can able to achieve what viewer is expecting. Eighth question: any possibility to see the data table connection with a parent child hierarchy in a Power Query? So what I understand from the interviewer based on his explanation was, uh, how the data is flowing from one table to another table, and finally how the data is combining in it and from where it's coming from. So each and everything, the step by step has to be shown in the Power Query itself. Okay, as we know that any kind of modeling, if you can see modeling, so there we can define all the like transaction tables and dimension table respective, respective connections from like how the data has to flow, and everything is going to be defined in the data modeling. But they specifically pointing out to show in the Power Query itself like how the data is going to be flow from one table to another table. Now I'll show you. We are having orders table. Okay, holidays and calendars which I created recently. So I have orders and I do have a products table as well. And finally, both have combined. If you can see here with the left outer join, I have combined in it. So how can I able to see this? Okay, if you have a data modeling, so there we can see like any kind of join. So from this table to that table, data is flowing. Finally, how this comes into the picture. But whenever we come to the Power Query, how can we able to define it? How can we able to see it, the data is flowing? Based on that we can able to define like this is a parent, this is a child, this is from this table, this is how data is flowing and how it's getting connected, and finally what would be the outcome for it. Okay, if you can see in this picture right now, as I know that orders is the one which I captured from the Excel, and products is another table which I have captured, and finally this is a consolidation which I have mapped it for an example, just for considering purpose. So I just uh, merge both of the tables, and finally this what outcome of it. If you can see, we have an option called view. In the view option, if you can see all these options, one is advanced query editor and another one is a query dependency. In the query dependency we can see all the data tables which are exist in it and how the data is flowing, and finally what would be the outcome from it. Okay, so from this table, from this source, I'm capturing orders and products. So both are coming from the same source. And finally, based on these orders and products, I've combined and did a merging for it. And finally, this is what a final consolidation which I'm capturing in it. So here we can see, parent and child level of hierarchies throughout all the tables. So I'm just considering two tables. So here we can see how the data is flowing from one table to another table. If we try to delete orders, let's try to delete. See, if you can see here, the query orders cannot be deleted because it has been referenced by another query. Okay, this was using in another query, so it's not going to be possible to delete it. So if you want to delete it, first we have to delete the child level of hierarchy, which is the final consolidation, and then we have to delete the orders details. Okay, so that's how we can able to see the hierarchy in the Power Query itself. How would you remove the prefix or suffix exist in the column names in all the, if you have a table, so in that we are going to have all the column names exist. If you are going to have any kind of prefix or suffix with a dollar or ampersand or whatever and hash, any kind of things, how would you gonna remove those prefix or suffix, anything comes into the picture? So let's jump into the Power Query. If you can see here, just imagine sometimes there might be a possibility or any kind of glitch. Column names might populate with a dollar or any other symbols who comes into the picture. So at that time, how could we able to delete those dollar symbols? So in a manual approach, we can go one by one column and we can able to delete that dollar symbol. Okay, that's not a best practice to do it, because at this moment we are going to have just five columns, so we can able to do it directly itself. But if you are going to have 50 or 60 columns exist, and each and every column do have this dollar symbol exist, so how can we able to delete it? So let's uh, do that using the inquiry here. So for this table dot, we have a command called table dot transform column names. From this, so in the each and every column name, we have to replace the text. So this would capture the text, all the columns in the table. And what we have to, so we have to define the old text which is of dollar, and what's a new text. New text will be just an empty space. uh, that's what we have to consider. Let's close this braces and enter. And finally that's it. So we are not going to have any kind of dollar, any kind of symbol. So if you want, so at this moment I have considered only dollar as a symbol. If you have uh, any other things like ampersand, hash, or any other conditions, or any other, if you have any other symbols exist, let's take this query and try to replace all those things as well. Question is, how would you get only top 10 rows into the Power Query dynamically? Just imagine, uh, you know, they specifically asking us to uh, get top 10 rows dynamically. For example, an end user want to, uh, you know, want top 20 rows, top 30 rows, top 50 rows, whatever the rows end user is expecting. Okay, that we have to get into it. How we can do that using inquiry? Let's go back to the Power BI. Let me take a orders. So we are going to have almost, we have all the data in it. First we have to define a parameter for it. Let's take a parameter. We have a manage parameters. Let's take a new parameter, rows. Type should be numeric, which is of decimal. And current value at this moment I'm just capturing is at 10. But in end user perspective, if they want 100, we have to provide it. If we have, if they want 200, whatever the selection they made, So it has to populate in the table. Okay, let's click on OK. Okay, how we can able to incorporate it? We have keep rows. Here we have a keep top rows. Let's define a parameter here. So just let me explain the clear process first. Decimal. For example, if I want top 5 rows, whenever I click on OK, it would populate top 5 rows. Let me make the change to 20. It would go to 20. Okay, it's not going to possible for everyone to come to the Power Query to make this query change and get whatever the selection of columns they want or rows they want. So for that reason, we have created a dynamic parameter for it. So whatever they're gonna enter in the parameter, so specific rows would comes into the picture. Let's go back. So instead of here 20, let's define as a rows, which is the name or the dynamic one which we have given. Let's jump. See, in the rows, I have given 10. Now it's showing as a 10. If I would give it 20 here, so orders will comes into the 20. How end user would select that rows, dynamically. Let's close and apply. Once the data is loaded, let's take the columns from the orders table. Let's add row ID, product ID, postal code. Let's take that as a table so that we can clearly understand that what is going on. And let's take a segmentation, shipment date, or order ID, or whatever, customer related information. Okay, if you can see here, the row count is showing as 20. Okay, that is what we have given as an input in the parameters. Okay, at this moment, if you can see here, parameters. So previously, whatever the dynamic parameter what we have given is 20. So that's why it's showing as a 20. Let's make that change to 50. Let's apply the changes. So now we are getting 50 rows. So this is how uh, it could be doable. Okay, so why this is specifically needed is when everyone is running at a development or a testing phase, no need to get all the data into the Power BI. Data could be sometimes we are going to have a large and heavy data sets with billions of rows in it. Okay, at that time, it's not a good approach to get all the data into Power BI and do all the necessary corrections. Okay, instead of that, we can pick only top 50 or top 100 or top 1000 rows. Okay, so based on that, let's build the visuals. Let's create whatever is needed whenever it's going for the production or something. So let's make the change uh, to the actual rows to it, so that we can able to achieve whatever is needed. So even at the time of development, everything is going to run smoothly because the data is very lesser, and the performance is going to be very much good in terms of building and everything. So that's all.